ranch babble. Onward and upward. Here we go. First time on the interstate. What the hell? Perfect conditions. This is actually pleasant, kinda. About 78 indicated, so -4 or 5, so 74, 73, something like that. 72 indicated. Feels good. Feels stable. Thankfully, a light wind today. To readjust the windshield a little bit. I got some in between light and moderate buffeting at the top of my melon. Hey Melon 1, nice job. Speaking of melon, that's my buddy Jake. He's babysitting me. We're gonna meet Jake in a little bit here. He's the guy I went to MSF class with. His first bike was a used Sportster. Look at that beautiful bike. 2015 Road King. He's badass. He took that Sportster on I-10 the first week he had it, and he was like, dude, it got scary up about 95 miles an hour. I'm like, no shit. I'm a little squirrely. Every once in a while I get a little twitchiness in the front end, but actually I think I'm the one that's causing that. I'm trying to keep my hands and shit relaxed, but relax, James. The engine's purring. I got 80 indicated. Now, I noticed a weird thing once with the speedometer, that it was off by about 5 miles an hour at 60, 65 miles an hour. But then when you got up to 70, 75, and it started coming back closer to accurate. I probably should have fired up my GPS on my phone and matched the speed. .83 indicated. So this loop we're doing, getting on I-10 at Crestview, and we're going to the 285 exit. It's like 12 miles. Before I did it, I figured this would be the longest 12 miles of my life, but it's pretty much optimum conditions today. One mile. Not going to pull up on this truck slipstream, hopefully. Although even from here I could feel the buffeting starting to pick up. Interesting. Put on my blinker like half a mile ago. Excuse me for saying so, but fuck yeah. That was freaking awesome. We're gonna pull off and have a beer. Hey, I thought it'd be appropriate to introduce you to my safety net. This is Jake.
Hey.
I needed somebody to be able to scrape me up off the ground and call my next of kin if it didn't go well on my first ride on the interstate. But you've seen Jake in other vlogs before.
And Big Red.
And Big Red.
Been around.
I think I have a video, and I'm going to look for it, where you're on your Sportster.
Oh, okay.
I think we were going to the flyover that day.
Yep, that's right.
And then I definitely have Toys for Tots footage of you when we did the Toys for Tots ride. Mm-hmm. And then I've got Big Red footage.
Yep.
So Jake and I, this is more about riders as much as it is about the highway, but to take care of the highway stuff first. My first time on the interstate, I don't know why it was in my head. I was freaked out. Jake, his first bike, did you ever take the Rebel on the highway?
No. No.
But he did.
Yeah, I took, I think 78 miles an hour going downhill with the backwind, tailwind was about the max on that Rebel. So.
But you did take the Sportster. You had a...
Absolutely.
What year was that?
82?
82?
4, something like that, yeah.
You rode that to Pensacola. I remember you telling me the first time you rode to Pensacola on that on I-10.
The first and only time? Yeah.
Unofficially, how fast did you get up to?
I got it to right before 100 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was screaming. Yeah.
He told me that, and my pecker shriveled. Just hearing that.
Yeah. It was quick. It was quick, but you only do that one time.
And then he has since traded that on a 15 Road King? 16 Road King.
Road King. Yep.
103?
103. And huge difference now. Can we cuss on this?
Yeah, we can cuss on this.
So now the I-10 is my bitch. So it's much better, much more equipped for it, and a hell of a blast. So it's good times.
It's a beautiful bike. Hopefully you're looking at pictures of it now. My intent is to put that video in here.
Yeah,
some B-roll.
That's right. I learned about B-roll today, so thank you for that.
Jake, and we're going to double back to this in a second because he also does podcast stuff. He doesn't have, and he has no, like me, he has no radio connection. It's just something that evolved. But anyway, so Jake and I met, strangely enough, when my ex-wife and I were married. And Jake and his wife were friends with her husband back in the day.
Yes, long time. In military. We went to military together.
Military
so more than
together.
friends, yeah.
So flash forward, we became friends. Flash forward, I got divorced. Flash forward, we've stayed friends.
Right.
And he's my riding buddy. And he had a dream to ride. I had a dream to ride. And we met during that time. And so we ended up going to the MSF class together.
Yeah, we were hammered drunk one night, and that's when we make our best life decisions.
Right.
And we decided we need motorcycle licenses.
Right.
And we did it. Yeah.
So we went to the school, got our licenses together, which I've also mentioned, I believe, in my riding tips from a new rider. I think that's the thumbnail, is us standing there with our MSF cards holding a beer.
Very cool.
And then he ended up on the 15, and it's a beautiful, beautiful bike. And in the interim, you know, we both have jobs, and he's married with a son, and they're busy, I'm busy, and we don't get to ride near as much as we'd like to, although we took our first long ride together. Mm-hmm. And I went with you and a group of your Harley buddies from here to Pensacola one day, had a great day.
Great ride, yeah.
And this is the first ride we've done together like this, and I don't even...
It's been a little while.
It's been embarrassing long. But this is the guy that we kind of fired each other up for the dream to learn to ride. committed
of
to
firsts.
doing it together.
A lot of firsts. I grew my beard when we first started riding.
Yeah.
My first running over an old lady on a racetrack.
Yep.
Did that. First owning a motorcycle.
God.
So a lot of firsts, which has been, and then now, which is fantastic, first time on the highway.
First time
Right?
on the highway.
Yeah.
That's why he was my shot.
Awesome, and he nailed it, by the way. So from
It
my
was
point of
great.
view.
Oh, I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, it was way smoother than I thought it was going to be. The wind was down. The engine noise, which I told you bothered me in the past, wasn't an issue because it's like a 4-banger car going 80. That single cylinder, it just hums at that. There was no wobble. The only time I felt a little wobble, it was me being too tense on the handlebars. It wasn't the bike. It was me. It was my inputs. But it was freaking great. I mean, it was awesome. And he's been on the highway forever, and he knows this has been in my head. You guys know this has been in my head because I mentioned it before. And now I'm like, why was it ever in my head? You know?
No, I rode
great.
by you just a little while ago, and you looked like you'd been doing it for a long time. So it's awesome.
So
Fantastic.
even though I knew I wanted to have a KLR, once I learned about adventure riding and the possibilities there, at the end of the day, it's about riding.
Absolutely.
It's about riding. We had a dream to ride, and then we realized the dream to ride. And even though he's on a Harley and I'm on a KLR, I know for me, and I'm pretty sure for you, the reality of riding has exceeded my expectations.
It's in every part of my life. My wife loves riding with me, and she's a fantastic passenger. 90% of my friends all ride just because we share that in common, so we hang out with the guys that ride rather than those that don't more often. And I stopped riding. It was super hot the last couple weeks, right? So I was driving my car and AC and this and that, and it's been a couple weeks. And I rode after that. I'm like, it was just so much fun, even just to work.
Right.
I'm like, why do I ever stop doing this? You know,
and, I'm the same way.
And it's everything Harley, everything in our living room and our clothes. I got more Harley and riding gear now than I have regular clothes. And of course, where I work, my shop uniform is a great double for riding because I got boots and long pants on. It's perfect, absolutely perfect.
I think that's the biggest commitment, recommitment that I'm making. Instead of finding the time to ride, I'm going to make the time to ride, and that's what I was doing too long too. I was coming up with so many reasons not to ride.
Now, when I get into a car, it's weird to me because there's so much around me, and I'm in a cage, and I'm just not that I don't like it. It's fine, but I ride on my bike more than I drive any vehicle. Yeah.
And he does, and I don't.
I ride every day.
And I don't. And it's not because. Well, that's actually more because of my situation. I have to pick up kids mostly every day from daycare or grandma or whatever.
Right? Strap them in. That's what the ratchet straps are for.
Well, I could put one in each pannier and one in my trunk.
That's right. That's right.
I never thought of that.
Strap them down good.
So I wanted you guys to meet Jake because he's not only my closest buddy, but he's my riding buddy, and he's my.
We've been friends for a long time, man.
Yeah,
long time.
A long time.
Good.
And just quickly, he started a podcast.
So the Next Move podcast.
Next Move podcast. He and his brother decided they were going to open an Amazon store, and they wanted to do a podcast of building the store and how to get it started.
That's right.
Since then, it's morphed into more of a podcast about whatever they feel like talking about.
Right. And actually, and you may not know this, so and to shout out to all my movers out there, we have actually are bringing the Next Move podcast to a close. We've done 31 episodes, and we're starting a new podcast, Pee on the Pods.
Pee on the Pods.
Where my partner and brother, Tarzan, and I'm
That's
Pound
another
Sign.
story
Right,
for another day.
So Tarzan and Pound Sign, we listen and review other podcasts, and then we let them know what they need to do to be successful at podcasting. The trick is they have no idea. So all of a sudden they get this guy reviewing.
And they have no idea. They don't know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. So we're going to let them know because we are self-proclaimed experts.
Right.
And so go check out the Next Move podcast and see what we're about, and then stay tuned for Pee on the Pods.
P because her last name begins
P
with
Bros,
P.
right? Our
Bros.
company P Bros, and this would all falls under. That's right.
It's kind of like inadvertently, because I know he doesn't know who this is. It's kind of like PewDiePie. He doesn't do his own content. He talks about other people's content.
Yeah, because
and
there's
he
a
has
lot of material out there.
64 million followers on
That's right.
YouTube.
That's right. You know, we mentioned your vlog,
Yeah?
and I think that's when you immediately went to 1,000 or 2,000 listeners, right? Like the next week.
I think I went
Maybe.
from 999 to 2,000 that day.
That's right. So
All
that's
right.
awesome.
This is Jake. You'll be seeing
It's
him
good.
more. We'll be doing this more.